All right, getting you a little video of Sunny, show you what we're working on with him. So the next phase of training is going to be a lot of off-leash stuff. And so what that looks like initially is I might use a long line to help him if he gets stuck. So I have something that I can use, or if he decides to run away or something like that, I've got something there. But initially, when we're teaching a dog things, we use a lot of leash. And so as we're going more off leash, we're stripping away a communication tool that the dog has been dependent on. And so that's why we've done a lot of e-collar stuff with the leash in unison. So even though we take away the leash, we have the e-collar that's been conditioned, so he can start to understand, okay, even though the leash isn't there to help me, I know what this funny little tickle means, and I know how to follow through with it. So, and the nice thing about the e-collar is I can bump it as low as we need to, but I can turn it up if we have louder distractions and we need a higher level. So sometimes that's the case when we have other dogs around or people that he's far more interested in. And so sometimes we have to turn it up, but we can adjust and go way down. So right now he's on a 7. Sunny, heel. I'll just show you. So as I'm working him, the first time I give him a command, that's my freebie. So I'm not actually using any kind of e-collar here. I'm just saying, Sunny, heel, and then I start going. Now, had he not been compliant with that, then I can start tapping on my button. And if he keeps blowing off, then I can start dialing up the level. Once he's completed the task, I might bump it way back to 7. So even, let's say we got up to 12. Because we needed more because he wasn't distracted or he wasn't paying attention or, whatever the case may be. I want to bump it back down now that I have him dialed in, just because he doesn't need a lot when he's tuned in. But bird dogs are interesting because they can zone in on one thing. I mean, that's why they're so good at what they do, and tune everything else out. So I've seen him tune out a higher level on the e-collar. But when we see that, we know we might have to increase higher in that state of mind. But once he's dialed back in with us, good things happen. We don't have to be super high on the e-collar. He's not the first bird dog I've worked through. I see that with a lot of GSPs, where they can just hone in on something, whether it is a bird, whether it's a dog, whether it's a person on a bike, and they get really distracted. We might have to use more e-collar. Now, one little thing I like to do with Sunny is I do a lot of directional changes to make sure that he can follow me. So right there, I tapped it there because he got a little distracted. He can follow me and stay pretty sticky to my leg, relatively speaking. I don't want him to be bumping me. In fact, I might give him a little correction for that, but I want him to be fairly close to me, and his nose needs to be off the ground. He can't be sniffing. There's a time for that, but it's not right now when we're working. Good job, Biddy. Good, and when I stop, he needs to SIT right next to me. Sunny, heel. And then we keep going, freebie again. But if he hadn't stopped, or he hadn't and sat down, or if he hadn't followed, I would have used e-collar there. So I always want to give him an opportunity when we start an exercise, but there's just one of those. There's only one freebie. After that, I'm correcting. The nice thing about the e-collar is the corrections don't have to be intense if they don't need to be. We can be fairly low. Good. And we only increase intensity if the dog needs it, depending on the state of mind that the dog is in. So if he's zeroed in on another dog, then we can use a higher correction. But when there's just general basic tweaks that we need from him, like your position, your lack of focus, then we might just use little corrections here and there. Sunny, heel. Nice. So I'm going to tell him to down. Sunny, down. Good boy. So this is an implied stay. So when I say Sunny, down, I don't actually say the word stay. The implication is that you stay. So I want him to understand that even though there's things going on around you in your environment, when I ask you to down, you are required to stay here despite how far away I am from you, despite the distractions, despite how long I ask you to do it. So we call that in the dog world our 3Ds: distance, duration, distractions. And we're always proofing those in our training regiment with every single dog. Can you hold a place command under 3Ds? Can you hold a down stay under 3Ds, a sit stay? And so we want to make sure that the dog understands the permanence, that expectation that we're requiring. Now with Sunny, he's very, very social. And so I only release him from commands when he gives me eye contact. So if he's focused, Sunny down, elsewhere, and right here, he's gonna fix it. So I'm gonna put him all the way back down. So I'm using e-collar until he fixes it. I want him to go back to the same spot. I want him to give me eye contact. So if I'm walking around him and he's not paying attention to me, he can't get out of this position. But the moment he gives me really good eye contact, I want to reward him with freedom. So I don't let him just look at anything and then get released, because 9 times out of 10, he's gonna go to the other dog he's worried about, or the person. Yeah, but if I release him, see how excited he is to come to me? I actually set myself up for success. So it's almost like a little training cheat sheet, because I'm rewarding the focus, which in turn gives me more focus, because he's gonna look to me for direction. Good job, Sunny. We'll try it again. There's a dog over there getting a bath. Sunny, down. So I give him a tap on the e-collar because he didn't comply initially. Good boy. Now if he breaks from this spot, he has to go back to the same spot. Sunny, down, down. Good boy. And I don't let him get super sniffy. So if he's like sniffing a ton, I'm giving him little taps on the e-collar until he actually, we want your brain, not just your body. We want you to be focused on the task at hand. Okay, yeah, good eye contact. Yeah, and then 9 times out of 10, he's gonna come right back into heel, especially when we're in work mode. And it makes things so much easier if I'm out and I wanna give him freedom, but there's a lot going on in the environment, and I don't always trust that he's not just gonna run off and frolic with a new dog on a hike or go and jump on a person. This stuff can help set me up for success, where I get a lot of focus, I work on impulse control, and good things happen. Good job, buddy. So that's where we're at.